everyone, and welcome to the new weekly show on Polygon. It is called Polygon Live. We've done it a bit before, but now it's a regular weekly event every Wednesday at noon Eastern. And what we're going to be doing is playing through the latest and greatest video games. I am Ross Frushtick, and I am joined here with my good friend Chris Plant. Welcome, Chris, to Polygon Live, the inaugural episode.
I'm glad I could be here. It's Polygon Live because it happens live.
It happens live.
Wow.
As I mentioned, we're going to be playing the latest and greatest games, specifically the games that are coming out each week.
Yeah, we have 3 great ones this week.
It is a very strong week.
It's a really strong week to start. And 3 great indies. We have Nidhogg,
yes,
which is a fencing game.
Yeah.
To reduce it to, there's a lot more to it.
There's fencing.
We have Banner Saga, and we have Broken Age, which is the much talked about
the Kickstarter phenomenon
slash
Broken Age.
point-click adventure.
Yeah.
The return of the point-click adventure from Double Fine Studios.
So basically, what we're going to be doing here is essentially talking about the games very briefly, but more importantly, we're going to be playing through them. And so you're going to be able to see what these games are about. Hopefully, you'll be able to depart with a lot of knowledge about these games. Do I want to buy them? Do I want to not buy them? Do I want to just watch us goof around with them for a little while and then forget about them for the rest of your life? You have that option.
Man, it's good to have choice.
Good to have choice, and we are here to give it to you.
Free will.
First up, you mentioned it already, but first up we've got a game called Nidhogg. We're going to talk about it briefly before you grab the controller. I know you're very eager.
So ready.
Because I feel like people are going to be a little overwhelmed the second Nidhogg starts.
Okay, that's fair.
So as you mentioned earlier, Nidhogg is a fencing game. 2 players, 1 versus 1.
Yes.
And essentially you're trying to just kill the other person and then run to the end of the stage.
Yeah, I compare it to fencing meets football.
Yep.
Which sounds a little strange, but the way it works is at the beginning of the game, someone has to kill the other person.
Yeah.
And the first one who does that has the right of way to run towards their end zone.
You know what? This is a lot of description.
You
Maybe it'll be easier if we just jump right into it.
I'll show it to
and
you.
you can talk while we're playing it.
Okay, fine.
So let's just jump right into it. Here comes Nidhogg.
So we're on the pause menu right now, and we're going to get out of that. I am the orange guy on the right, if you want to cheer for sides. Frushtick is the yellow guy on the left.
Yep.
He's colorblind, so he really doesn't know who the hell he is.
I'm the guy on the left. I can handle left and right.
Now, before we get going into it, let's go over kind of the basic moves, right?
Okay.
So it's a fencing game, which means you have the option to set your stance. As you see, I'm moving from the low stance to the medium stance to the high stance.
Yep.
And then you can jab. Now, when somebody jabs at you, if they're close, they can also knock the sword out of their hand like that by moving up into the stance that they're in.
Whoa.
Or if you have the same stance, like this here, you'll deflect. Just like that. You also have the option to sweep the leg.
Yep.
And you have the option to throw.
No. So you can duck into that.
So
now he doesn't have a sword.
I'm in a bad place.
So I can stab him.
And you can dive kick.
Stab.
So it's kind of a Rochambeau. Oh, wow.
There we go.
Rock, scissors, paper thing going on
Rock,
here.
paper, scissors, generally how people call it, but that's fine.
Rock, scissors, paper.
And the idea is once you get a kill, I get this arrow. You can see it at the top, and it's telling me to go.
Now I'm on defense, and my goal is to prevent Frushtick from getting to that side. Oh, shit. I mean, crud. So a fun thing about Polygon Live is we're gonna try not to swear, and the result is just going to be me being very bad at this.
It's going to be very comical.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's going to be very comical trying to watch us not curse, but that's okay. By the way, we should mention, if you have any questions about the games we're playing, please send your questions to @Polygon, which is the Polygon official Twitter account, using the hashtag PolygonLive. And when we finish this gameplay session, 20-30 minutes, we will be answering some of those questions live on the show. We will be reading out your Twitter username, so you'll be famous. And you could share to the world how famous you are, and think of all the new followers you'll get just from the popularity of this show that we've just premiered. So get excited. But in the meantime, let's play some Nidhogg. So I'm crushing Chris Plant at this point. Oh my god. So again, it's this back and forth sort of tug of war nature. Football is a good analogy where you're constantly on offense or defense, depending on who got the last kill. I'm on the last area here, almost to the end.
But I'm not gonna I won't let that happen.
Oh, what up?
Shoot. So once somebody's on the ground, you also have the option to, well, you can do that, but you can rip their heart out. which is kind of your only move, really, once you are...
Here, let's see if we can show the heart-ripping action.
No, I think I'm going to run.
No? What?
And I'm going to dodge.
No.
And I'm going to run.
Ah.
You wasted the opportunity. Okay, in a scenario like this, Freshik has the advantage because my option is to jump up there, and if I even touch the sword tip, I'll be impaled.
Yep.
So what I need to do is...
What are you going to do?
Lure him out here. I mean, it's a game of patience.
You want me to lure... you want me to go out there?
I'll just wait here forever, and we'll just kill the stream.
Okay, I guess.
Oh,
no.
Now, in an area like this, you have an advantage because the jump kick isn't super advantageous. So it becomes really a game about the fencing.
It is.
The other option instead of the jump kick is to roll, which I just failed.
You can roll like that.
And for that, the person would want to have their sword low because that blocks the roll, essentially.
And a lot of this seems kind of overwhelming, especially when it's being described to you, because there are a lot of controls. But as you start playing it, it becomes pretty intuitive and easy to understand what's going on. That being said, I think playing on a keyboard would probably give you a lot of difficulty because there are a lot of like combination attacks where you're jumping and attacking at the same time. So strongly recommend playing with a Xbox 360 controller, which is supported. I think it needs to be wired, but that's definitely supported. We tried to get PS4 controllers working. Unfortunately, they didn't. But yeah, use the 360 controller and you should be able to play without too much difficulty on PC. Unfortunately, just on PC right now, no Mac version, although they are planning, I think, Mac and Linux. One thing I want to mention is the music. I don't know if people can hear it so clearly over our talk. Let's not say anything for 2 seconds so they can hear the music.
So and there goes your heart. Okay, back to the music.
Yeah, so you can hear the music a bit here. It's this jazzy, like ethereal, groovy. So plant just one.
And when you win the game, you get this: to be eaten by a giant space worm.
Yeah, space worm eats you. Go back to the main menu, and we can hear some of the music in the main menu.
So here's the main menu.
I don't even know if there's music here. No, there is.
Let's go over some of these options really quick. So,
well, I want to talk about the music because
okay,
we kept interrupting me. You can go into a match. Change one of the levels.
Clouds.
So the music has this weird, ethereal, like jazzy, but like electronic style to it. Doesn't sound like any other game soundtrack I've ever heard.
Rust Fushstick, Pitchfork Weekly.
Yeah, 9.3. I really, really love the music, and each of the levels has its own different style to it. This is the cloud level, and it has some interesting mechanics. For example, if I stand on these things for too long, I'll die.
For another, it makes the swords a bit difficult to see, purposely so.
Yeah, so you could hide behind clouds so people can't see how you're defending, stuff like that. Oh boy. No! Oh, heart rip!
Sweet!
Ah! No! So he ripped my heart out, so he gets a kill even without having a sword, which is the ultimate insult. No! Oh,
shoot.
you're dead.
Ah!
Okay.
So that is the technique. If somebody gets past you, kind of your last ditch effort is to throw the sword.
Yeah. You also run a bit faster if you don't have a sword, so that's a good way to catch up to someone.
I personally believe that you can dive kick for speed too. This is a contended theory.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case, but maybe. Oh, crud.
Wasted.
Okay. No, I know you always do that. Dive kicking is a very good technique in this game. Yeah, who made this game, Chris?
I believe the developer is called Meshhop.
Meshhop.
I don't know how to actually pronounce it as I look up the full name. Mark Essen is the name of the actual designer, and I believe he teaches at USC or UCLA. I'll have to look that up.
The game's been in development for ages. I remember seeing this back at GDC about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And you know, they've been refining it over the years, and it feels very clean. It feels like the controls have been very well thought out. There are certain aspects that I kind of wish I had a D-pad, which the 360 controller, I can't get the D-pad going, but it is really thoughtful. And again, the art style, let's call it, like, the art style, people have said it looks like sort of a ColecoVision game, or like a very old school game, but like, look at the detail here, like, that waterfall looks sick. Like, it's just like a very cool, representative art style that you don't see in very many games. It's not even like that pixelated look that a lot of games have sort of done for a while. Like, look at this grass, which can hide your sword location. But the way it like moves as you run through it is very groovy.
The other thing that we haven't really talked about is the use of blood to show where things have happened. So here, run into my sword.
No, whatever.
Yeah, I'll run to yours. Turn around.
Sure.
Just stand still.
I don't like dying. Okay. Oh, so I can just leave him there for a little while as he bleeds out, and it's awesome looking, and you can see the blood floating down there.
And over the course of a really intense match, the entire stage just gets painted with
bloodier.
Orange and yellow.
So I didn't even know where he was in the grass then, so I sort of guessed, and it didn't really work out.
Also, swords start to build up, so you can...
Oh gosh, I didn't realize you had the kill. No. This is sort of an interesting... that squirrel's attacking me. It's sort of an interesting mechanic where you know, it's high or low, and if you're on the bottom, you really can't throw swords, but if you're on the top, you can get sort of someone underneath
I can roll it.
But like each level has its own strategies. There are 4 levels in total. We'll try to run through all of them. That might not seem like a lot, but you'll notice how big the levels are themselves. We've had matches go back and forth for 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Sure.
I'm sure more expert players, we're definitely not experts, but I'm sure more expert players have seen matches last for way longer than that. And, okay, so here
we'll get into a long match because this seems to be where that happens a lot. The interesting part about this match is
this is
most
mines.
of it.
This level is the mines.
Most of it has low ceilings, so it takes the jump kick out of play, which obviously we use a ton, and that requires a lot of.
Whoa!
Did you not grab one?
I did.
A lot of sword fighting.
Oh gosh.
And that. Oh dang!
No.
Okay.
I was snuck by him.
You're a monster. See, we're still stuck. Oh wow, an advantage.
Okay, so in this case, I can't throw my sword.
Yeah,
just
the one
bounce off
advantage
the roof.
that I would have is the roll, but since he knows that, he was going to keep his sword low most of the time. But because I know it'll be low, I can knock it out of his hands.
No, God, I accidentally rolled into him. Damn it. Okay, so this is a really tough scenario that...
So now, he not only has the advantage of not letting me jump kick if he scoots back a little bit inside of this, but also I have to worry about the conveyor belt pulling me back.
Come on, Chris. Come on, get aggressive.
Stage so much.
Get aggressive. There it is.
Monster.
Oh gosh. Yep. It really is all about timing and yeah.
What?
Yes. Little baby move. I'm a baby. I'm a baby. I'm a baby. You don't know what baby's gonna do. What's baby gonna do?
We'll show you baby mode in a second. He's gonna get stabbed in the face.
Yeah, after this match ends, you can take a look at some of the variants in the game. You can change some of the aspects, turning off things like jump kicks and doing some other weirder stuff. Oh, what up?
Dang it.
Heart rip. Oh, big mistake. Oh, I did not take advantage.
I'm getting better at that, knocking the sword out of your hand, making you look like a fool. Oh, rolled, killed.
I like that.
What I like also is just the weird stuff happening in the environment.
Yep.
The fire, the worms.
Oh yeah, what's up with those worms? They're like maybe they're the baby sky worms
that are gonna eat your face.
Oh, awesome! Sort of a prequel to what's gonna happen.
Sure.
I kind of want to see like super high level play of this game because I'm sure people are really very impressed. Oh, what?
Oh man.
Ridiculous.
Rough.
People are really
final screen.
Bring
okay,
it.
so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna.
Oh, that's crap!
Stink! I threw my sword at you.
Thought you weren't even ready for it.
It's the worm.
Space worm. So
okay.
We're gonna take a look at some of the variants here. You know, we've been playing with the same settings for a while.
No, I know I have to.
You do it.
Out. Okay.
So we've been playing with the same, you know, the standard settings, which I'd really recommend. Most of the variants are not super ideal for gameplay, but some of them add some interesting things. You can turn on, just stay on one. So you can turn on the time limit. So some of these games, if you're frustrated and they last 15, 20 minutes, especially with really good players, turn on a time limit, it'll end the game early. Dive kicks you can turn on and off if you feel like they're cheap. Ditto on throws. You can play without swords, which we haven't actually tried. That must be pretty crazy. Throws only also. Baby mode we tried, it basically forces you to duck at all times. Not super fun, but silly. Low gravity, you know, you jump higher, stuff like that. I don't know what sudden death
We'll give it a
only
try.
is. Yeah, we'll give it a try. Skippy mode, you like skip around the map. It's almost nearly unplayable, but...
And in a fast and slow mode, essentially. Turbo and slow mode.
So, and there are some other spine and boomerang swords. They just do different things to your swords. So let's try, what was the one we wanted to try?
Should we try Sudden Death?
Yeah, let's try Sudden Death. We don't even know what this is. So this is exciting. Offline versus. And I think this is a map we haven't done yet, isn't there?
Oh, we've done all these, yeah.
Have we? Oh, yeah, okay. Oh my God. Oh, so this is Sudden Death. This might come into play if we had the timer on, and so it's just very limited. Okay, Sudden Death, here we go. Can I break that? No, I can't. Well, oh, you're dead. It's Sudden Death. Great. That is kind of fun. It's super quick.
Let's see what Sudden Death.
Oh, they've each got their own Sudden Death level. So if you're looking for like a shorter series of games, good one, Chris. That was good. So if you don't want to play like 10-minute rounds each time,
if you want to play 5-second rounds,
5 second. Oh, very exciting. Can we get up there? I think that's too high. Whoa! Oh. Now you have no sword. Good try. So apparently, if I just stand still for a while, Chris will just kill himself, which is
okay. Let's try one more. This is the one that counts. All those other ones are practice.
Okay, rubber match. So just a reminder that if you have any questions about Nidhogg, make sure to tweet them at the Polygon Twitter account, at Polygon, and use the hashtag PolygonLive, and we will talk about them and answer them, hopefully, if we know the answers to them. If we don't know them, we'll make them up. We'll just lie.
That sounds good. Okay, so let's try another variant. We'll get in here and then we'll hop out.
Sure.
Okay.
The game actually supports, I should mention, online play. You can, well, play online against someone else.
Okay.
I've played a bit of this. I will say I do not recommend playing online. The lag is pretty unplayable, and it feels like the game was designed for local play anyway. It's like very sort of a local yelling at each other on the. I can play while I'm talking. Yeah. Yelling at oh my God. Turbo.
So this is low gravity.
Stop! I was talking about online play.
I want to let people know what they're seeing. I want them confused.
Turbo. Great. So the online play has a lot of lag to it. Oh my God. And I wouldn't recommend it, especially since it's such a precision game. Any lag at all will make it really difficult to play. Oh God. Oh my. Turbo mode is kind of fun. Oh God, it's hard to measure the jumps when you're in turbo mode. Ah. See him catching up. Catching up. Oh. No. I gotta sword back. No. Oh man, turbo mode.
Oh, you're the worst.
Oh, I'm really bad. I'm good at sudden death.
Oh wow. And the worm.
We were too fast for the worm. It is a really like intense sort of guessing what your friend is gonna do kind of game that I definitely enjoy. But again, it's like if you're playing single player, there's a single player mode which we can show. You want to show up the single player while I talk? So the single player mode is essentially progressively more difficult AI opponents. It's good for practice. Again, I wouldn't get this game for the single player if it's just going to be you. It doesn't really hold up from a long-term perspective, but if you're really trying to learn the techniques, like Chris is here with the stabbing, it's good, you know. And you'll play through, and the colors of the guys will change. Oh,
wow.
Jeez.
It's a monster.
Very graphic. This is not a family-friendly game. So if you're looking for a game for the kiddies, well, I guess you could pretend like they're bleeding candy if you really want.
Do that with any game, I guess.
I guess you could. That deflect move is really one of the trickier moves to pull off. It's all about timing and like deflecting as they stab, but you just had nothing you could have done.
It was just rude of him.
I guess the AI is pretty thoughtful. Doesn't seem to kill itself.
It is possible that I am just really bad right
Or you could just be really bad. No,
I keep trying to roll under
the AI, the AI seems to know.
He sees my rolls.
Well, not only that he's in a scenario where the only way you can get past it is by rolling.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to stab him.
Just stab him. Use that knife for stabbing. Oh God, Chris, not good. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Oh, you're screwed. Go high. Can he stab you in the eye? Oh.
Wow.
That was in the midsection right there. That was like in that scene in Rob Roy.
Is it?
I think there's got to be a way to take him out. Maybe a jump, baby stab. You're getting crushed by the first level AI opponent. He doesn't know what to do. He thinks you're gonna jump kick. Oh, there you go.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna finish this. This is gonna be one.
You're in trouble. There's got to be a way to get around him. We should mention this game is available on Steam now. You can just pick it up on Steam, PC only. Again, it might come to Mac and Linux. Who knows, maybe consoles, but they haven't announced anything about like Vita. I think Vita would be a pretty cool platform.
Would it for a multiplayer game?
Yeah, Dive Kick came to Vita.
Sure.
All you need to do is have some like ad hoc action going on. Oh man.
No way.
Oh, you're really just bad.
Do you want to play some of this, and then
Sure.
I'll answer some questions while
Sure.
we're doing this?
Sounds good.
Rich wants to know if our employer Vox Media owns a bunch of black oval tables, or if we just have one that we move around.
Good question. We have many, many black oval tables. This is just one. This is the nicest one, I would say. It's my favorite. It's been around forever, since we've been around. Oh, you have the arrow. Or, wait, this is single player. Okay. Oh, stabby. Come on.
Kevin Pennyfeather, Lego Kid 3000,
Okay.
says, I've heard people talking about online issues with Nidhogg.
Yes.
Could you speak to that?
Absolutely. There are online issues with Nidhogg. As I said earlier, if you're looking for an online multiplayer game, this is not the game for you. It was clearly designed with local co-op in mind, or local multiplayer in mind, and the second that I tried to play online, there was just tons of lag, and because of the required precision that you need in this game, any lag at all is like a huge game-ruining aspect. So yeah, just stick to the single player.
I mean, this is the problem that another indie game, kind of similar to this, Towerfall, was running into. It had a lot of requests to go online with its multiplayer mode. And I know the creator of that game was hesitant, to say the least, because of the obvious issues that come with moving a game that precise, that is on a budget to have an online mode. Yeah,
I'm honestly surprised that they ended up including online multiplayer here, because it does really increase the cost of development, and you know, especially if you don't like pull it off well, it does sort of make people feel like, oh, that's kind of like not a great experience, and it hinders the game overall. But so long as you just put it out of your brain that there's online multiplayer, you'll be fine and dandy.
Sure. Ethan Gack, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name,
okay,
says, what's the best way to connect controller-wise for local co-op?
Sure. So we're using wired 360 controllers here. We've also tried using, Microsoft sells a 360 dongle that allows you to use wireless 360 controllers. We haven't used any other controllers with it. I tried using PS4 controllers and it didn't work. So I'd strongly recommend just wired 360 controllers. You can get them pretty much anywhere. You can get like a third-party one if you don't want to pay up for the Microsoft official ones, and they'll all work fine on PC. On Mac, it's a little more complicated, but this game's not on Mac, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, tell us about this a little bit, about what you're doing right now.
What I'm doing is I'm just playing single player, trying to take on this orange dude who is an AI-controlled opponent. And I just won because I'm awesome and Chris is really bad. And by winning, I get eaten by the giant worm. The giant worm's backstory is sort of hidden from the world. I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but it's really exciting. And single player, you just progress through these increasingly difficult bosses. So I feel like that's Nidhogg. So any other questions you wanted to get for Nidhogg, or?
I think that covers it. I mean, it is one of those games that's relatively easy to speak to, you know?
Yeah.
There's not not to say there's not a whole lot to it, but it's more of a game that you just want to sit down and play.
Yeah, I feel like people probably might have a difficulty, like if you're watching other people playing, you might, first of all, have difficulty understanding what the hell's going on, and secondly, like why it might be fun. But picking up the controller really makes a huge difference. Being in like a party-like environment makes a big difference. The game actually supports like tournament, so you can do like a round-robin tournament with, you know, many players, and those aspects of it make it like a good party game. And it seems more and more like a lot of multiplayer games are coming out that are designed to be good. You invite people over to your place, and you play just like a fun party game or like a dorm-like environment would be really ideal for these sorts of games.
Now, I do want to talk about what happened to us this weekend when we tried to play this at my house, and that is, it is a PC local multiplayer game.
It is.
And as much as Valve is trying to make Steam like the go-to platform and we're moving it to the living room, boy, it is not there yet. We tried to use big picture mode with it, which was a mess and required me running back and forth between the computer room and the TV just to get things to work.
Yeah.
And it's not just Nidhogg. That continues to be a problem I have.
Once the game was launched, it was fine.
Yes, which isn't the case with every game.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, speaks to something beyond just Nidhogg right now with this idea of playing games in your living room off a PC.
Yeah.
And it really just is not there yet. And that's kind of what I keep wanting to see more of from Valve when they are talking about Steam is what they're actually going to do to make that work.
Yeah.
It seems like we hear a lot more about the controller and everything around that, but not actually just, you know, it's a clean system.
Right.
You can play the game.
Work as consistently as a console works, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have another game coming up.
That's exciting.
Boom. Our next game is the Banner Saga from an Austin-based crew of indie game developers. I believe most of them came from Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh, really?
I know.
Very good game.
This game does not look like that.
No, it doesn't.
It looks like...
Doesn't play like that either.
No. It looks kind of like a Don Bluth cartoon, maybe like 1940s, 1950s Disney too. But I mean, let's just kind of dig into it.
Let's dig into it. So this is a mouse keyboard game. We won't be using the controllers for this. Before you even start, can we just discuss and say this might be the prettiest damn title card I've ever seen for a game, like ever? Like I just want to hang out and like I want this on my wall. Like that is gorgeous. So well done on the title screen. You can move on now.
Okay.
So I played a little bit of this. Yes, I played a bunch of this, but I played a little bit yesterday to get us. This is not the very, very beginning of the game. I sort of got us to a little bit in. So the premise of the game, it's a mix of, I guess you could say it's a mix of turn-based strategy, sort of like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay.
There's a mix of sort of Oregon Trail-y, where you're managing resources and trying to keep this like band of heroes alive. And there's also a bit of Walking Dead in there because there's some like choose your own adventure moments where you'll be deciding dialogue choices and they actually impact the game pretty majorly.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the top level. Here we're in an encampment with our whole squad. You can do things like training and rest up, and you can look at your heroes. Let's take a look at the heroes tent. You see where that is?
Is it?
Yeah, right over there. So these are some of the heroes that are in our party, and we can look at the art style. Click on one of them. Yeah, so this is the art style that pervades the entire game.
Cumber's hair.
Plant mentioned Don Bluth, who is the creator of Dragon's Lair. And it does have that feel of like the 80s hand-drawn. There was a bunch of cartoons in the 80s that looked like this, a bunch of video games by Don Bluth that looked like this. And it's a visual style that we really haven't seen, for quite some time. Which is a little bit surprising, but I think it's just people didn't have the patience to like do this amazing hand-drawn art style. They, went other routes. They went 3D or what have you. But here we have this like gorgeous level of detail. You can close it and like pull up another one of the dudes. Yeah, there you go. There's another dude there, and it just looks amazing. So that we'll see it in a little bit when combat starts. How this all looks in the game. But that's the overall look at the game, is this hand-drawn style. And here in this hero page, you're just looking at stats and stuff like that. So
Try add somebody to this?
They're all in your party already. Okay. So we can leave this encampment, go to the bottom.
Okay.
Where it says leave. Yep, there you go. And these are the moments where, there's some dialogue. Oh, here, let's let them talk.
Weather, where frozen wind sweeps in from the bay. They tend livestock, but most are just men driven from Strand with nowhere else to go. Why else would anyone stay? We won't stop long.
Cool, so those dialogue sequences will start as you're adventuring through the world, giving you story. The backstory of the game is it's this sort of mix of fantasy. It has like a Game of Thronesy kind of vibe where it's fantasy but also kind of grounded. And the backstory is that the sun one day just stopped moving in the sky, and everyone's sort of trying to figure out why. And there's a bunch of demons running around. Bad news. So here we've entered into a town. There's this peasant that's talking to us. He's being sort of a jerk. And Plant is talking to him.
What I really enjoyed about this game, from the little I've played of it, is that I can follow it.
Yeah.
I in general, don't enjoy fantasy, even though this is a mix of, like, what would you call it? Norse mythology meets fantasy?
Yeah, Norse mythology, fantasy, sure.
Sure, but I usually find it too overwhelming and confusing, and it's written in plain English. I mean, while the characters have, you know, unusual names, it's really easy to track what's going on. And the story itself is told in a really personal way. I mean, I'm not a big Game of Thrones person, but maybe that's a fair comparison, which I've heard is more about the people than it is about the myth.
Right, and we'll see in a little bit, you actually end up following a bunch of different bands of people. The story will skip around, so you'll see the story from the point of view of one group, in this case, these giants. There are a bunch of giants. And later on in the demo, we'll see a squad of just 2 humans that are sort of running through the forest and have wildly different powers and backstories, and how those stories collide is very fascinating. So here we're going to see some of the combat. As you can see, it's grid-based and follows the style of Final Fantasy Tactics, in the sense you can move a certain amount of squares, and different characters have different abilities. So in this case, we've got this spear dude who is going up against this large skeleton-like creature and will probably just get dashed very quickly. This is still one of the tutorials. Just so you have a better understanding of how the combat works, so each enemy that you fight, and your characters as well, have 2 attributes that you really have to worry about.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he just got rocked. So you've got strength and you've got armor. Strength will determine not only your health, it determines your health, but also how much damage you do. More strength, more damage, and more health. Armor, on the other hand, will prevent damage against you. And so the idea is you're trying to decide, am I going to lower this enemy's armor before attacking their health, or do I lower their health first, and that way they're doing less damage to me? And you're sort of balancing different classes on the field with different abilities. Plant clearly has no idea what he's doing, because he just moved himself in a place that can't attack anyone. So you should just skip your turn. You want me to play? Have you played this?
I'll trust you.
You've already done pretty bad for me, but we'll see what I can do while you're doing. We can see this art style, while the combat is going on, it really sets itself apart. As people move into place and stuff like that, it just like looks super clean and very thoughtful. I can't do much at this point, so I'm just going to end this guy's turn. Enemy soldier dude's turn. So, okay, so now I can attack. So this big guy can move in on large skeleton dude to attack. Large skeleton dude has tons of armor, tons of health. Now, if I go to attack him normally, it says I'm only going to do 1 damage to health. I'm also only going to do 1 damage to armor. But I'm going to pick armor because it's going to increase the likelihood of the other guys doing way more damage. So let's do that. Bonk. So he takes 1 damage to armor. He takes, wow, a crap load of damage to health. Not doing so well. Plant did not put me in a good place.
Oh, man, I put you in a real pickle.
A real pickle. But let's move this guy in and try to take down more of his armor. So let's attack this dude. So now we're taking down more armor, as you can see. I can also use these things called willpower, which actually increases the amount of damage I do. So now I'm going to do 4 damage to his armor. Willpower is a limited resource that you want to use only when you need it. Little guy's attacking me for 2 health. Man, Plant. Ugh.
It's a strategic decision.
It's a terrible decision is what you've done. Because this guy who's really good at...
In case people didn't notice, the limited resource that you're talking about can also be used in how you move.
Yes, so movement absolutely will... you can increase the amount you move by using one of those willpower things. So certain guys are better at doing certain things. So in this case, this guy with the giant sword is actually better at attacking health, whereas the guy with the giant mace that Plant totally put out of position is good at attacking armor. But we're still going to work his armor down because he's still pretty high at 9 armor. He's just oh, this is horrible.
I don't know if you're gonna make it.
I'm gonna make it.
I mean, like I thought you had a chance, but
well, and then you played and ruined all my chances.
That's debatable.
Okay, let's do more armor damage to this guy. There we go. He's down pretty low now. I should be able to start attacking his health if my guys don't totally die. They seem to have blocked me in, which is another tactic that you can use to like block other units from moving in. So I gotta attack this little skeleton dude instead of attacking the big guy. I'm gonna go with health. Take that. This is bad.
I don't think you're gonna make
No,
it.
I'm good. Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, maybe. I'm gonna attack. This is, oh God, really bad.
I think you go with armor. Oh,
Yeah, I gotta go with
you
armor.
gotta go with
I think you're
armor.
right. So I'm working my way down on this dude's armor. Oh God. But the problem is, so now he has only 2 health left. So I'm doing like very little damage with that guy. Chris Plant. It's kind of amazing how one turn by Chris could just devastate the rest of this game.
I think I did that on purpose to show just, you know, like how well balanced the game is. Did you think about that?
Yes, and how thoughtful you need to be to actually not suck.
Yeah.
Which apparently you've mastered. I'm gonna. Okay, so this skeleton guy is almost dead. God, please die. No. I'm literally down to 1 unit because of that one terrible move that Chris made.
No, this is good. You're seeing how the game could go either way, right? If we had just like destroyed this,
yeah,
people would have been like, "Wow, this game looks
felt really
boring
good
and
about
easy."
myself though, if that were the case. At least I can kill one dude. This little guy's. Oh God. So they're in pillage mode because I'm only down to 1 unit, so they can attack way more frequently. I'm gonna just attack. Oh my God.
Did he block it?
Yeah, he blocked it. Okay, just kill me already, skeleton
He's humiliating
bastards.
you. Here, I think I have a feeling this is it.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Good work, Plant.
You're welcome.
Dynamite job.
I do what I can.
I'm gonna try to show that how that could play. Let's see. What happens here? Okay, so this is kind of interesting. The game keeps going, even though we lost that battle. In this case, it's sort of expected that you're at a bit of a disadvantage in that battle. So some maybe poorer players might lose. And the story just keeps going. They understand, like, oh, wow, you killed yourself. But you'll recover because everyone else sort of flooded into the battle. Later on, see in this case, somebody died. Later on, you'll actually be able to lose people permanently in the rest of the story. Like if someone dies, that's the end of them. Which
So
is
what
very
do you
sad.
do? Do you buy more people?
Well, you do recruit other people,
Okay.
and sort of like Fire Emblem in the way that like you want to keep the guys that you have because they're leveled up. But if they die, that's on you, buddy. That's on specifically you because
Wow.
you're terrible at this game. So here we're seeing the story is shifted to these 2 characters here, far to the east, and they're dealing with this large dude who seems to like deer.
It's like a giant deer.
Venison fan. Is it a giant deer?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just
Is
like
it perspective?
Might be a perspective thing.
I don't know. I think it might just be a giant deer.
Yeah, that's a big deer. There,
Like the
there's
end of
giants.
Princess Mononoke type of thing.
I haven't
He
seen
has
it. No
killed
spoilers,
them.
shut up.
Oh.
No spoilers about
That could've
Princess
been
Mononoke, which came out forever. So now that I'm playing, I'm gonna do this battle way more thoughtfully than Chris did. I'm gonna move my guys up here. Can't do a whole lot yet. And we've got an archer and a swordsman here. The archer I'm gonna try to keep out of range, and the swordsman is gonna take a lot of the damage. So let's move the archer in. Are we in range yet? We are. So I'm gonna use the archer, take out some of this armor. I could have used the willpower, and should have, but didn't. I blew it. So we're gonna work down this guy's armor. He's attacking my swordsman, that's okay. We want that to happen. He's playing right into my hands. Let's take down more armor. I'm gonna do 2 damage on the armor thanks to willpower here. He's down to 6. Oh God, my archer, no, leave me alone. I'm gonna move my archer away here.
It's such a slight thing, but even having the deer in that kind of like cutscene and see it on the battlefield adds so much to it feeling like a lived
Yeah, we can see it down there. Rather than it just being like a randomly generated, like generic, this is a battle area. Yeah, it feels like this scenario is just happening after the cutscene we just watched. So you can see his armor is down to 4 now, and I can do a whopping 5 damage, which is a big improvement to where it was before. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Actually, I'm gonna do 6 damage thanks to willpower. Oh, he has arrows too, I didn't realize that.
Wow.
And now, oh no!
Oh,
Archie.
That was a risk.
That's okay. So I'm gonna move Archer out of range and finish him off. And this is sort of how combat's supposed to work when you know what the hell you're doing.
Man, you have to throw a willpower, yeah.
There it is, and that'll finish him off. Boosh! I earned some renown. Renown is sort of the resource that you spend as you level up characters. Dredges are the demon race that seems to be spreading out throughout the land. Might have something to do with the sun stopping. Very mysterious.
Probably not.
They've got sort of a will they or won't they thing going on.
I'm not surprised. She has a certain brave characteristic.
Insofar as she uses a bow and arrow and has long hair.
Exactly.
And is a girl.
Sure. And he has a certain every male hero of a fantasy movie that I see.
He kind of looks like Aragorn.
He does.
Okay, so here we've lost a bunch of supplies. And we have a choice.
So we can forget the supplies.
Yep.
Let's get back to Skoger. We can, if we hurry, we can gather them before more dredge appear. Or do you think you can handle more of them?
Let's try to gather them before more dredge appear and see what happens.
What if you choose? Do you think you can handle more of them? Just more of them show up.
Sometimes there's more combat. There's actually a scenario early on where they're like, "Would you like to fight these guys?" And you're like, "Nah," and you just don't have that fight. It's kind of amazing. So we get some supplies, some dredge emerge, but we're able to keep moving, and we ditch them. So we get 15 supplies.
The dialogue is so well written and so well delivered. It feels like a good D&D campaign. If you've ever played D&D, it feels like you're in the hands of a great dungeon master. If you've never played D&D and you wondered, why do all those nerds like that nerd game? You should give this game a try, and I'll give you a little bit of insight how it feels to be a real nerd like me.
So we're moving through towards this town of Skoger, which was mentioned earlier. And we saw a bit of the supply mechanic. You need to make sure that you have enough supplies to keep your caravan going. If you don't have enough supplies, you'll start to lose people, and that is bad. And sort of what's amazing about this is I've always loved Fire Emblem games, but the story is I've never cared.
Sure.
Like, there's never been anything like dragging me through each of the missions, apart from like my love of combat. Here the combat's really good, and also, as you said, like engaging story, and God, gorgeous art. Like, this art is crazy. How good this art looks, and how many people made this game? It was like 3 people, right?
It was a small team. It was like 3 or 4 people.
Super small team. Turns out if you and 2 other super talented friends get together, you can probably make a game this pretty. No, you can't. They're amazing.
I will say, and this will tie into our next game, this is another Kickstarter project.
This was a Kickstarter project.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And we've got another big Kickstarter game coming up last. And, you know, people have felt like a little bit hit or miss. Some Kickstarter games have come out and been pretty disappointing, but some Kickstarter games have really set themselves apart as great titles.
I wonder, when we're seeing this, and we're going to see Broken Age in just a second, if maybe the initial crop of these Kickstarter games weren't so hot because they were kind of rushed through development. Mm-hmm. These are games that were early on in Kickstarter and have been in development for a year, maybe 2 years. Kentucky Route Zero is another example of that, where they had that time to really, you know, get polished and be well made before they were forced into market.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely helps. Do we have any questions from the readers?
Sure, let's check that out. So, questions. From Nicholas Prouty, do you get different dialogue depending on what heroes you have in your party?
That's a good question. I haven't played deep enough to know that. So, good question that I don't have the answer to. I've put in a couple hours, about 3 or 4 hours. The game just came out, and I didn't have an early version. So, Good question. I know the story will change, and they'll definitely make reference to like, oh, that guy died. Remember when that guy died? So it will change the story somewhat. Any other questions we have from the audience?
We'll loop back onto it in just a second. I want to actually dig into this. There's a few other things I want to make sure that we have right before I give answers, because I want to make sure that we give credit to the right people.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
You don't have any other questions that don't require any gameplay questions that I can answer right off the bat?
Actually, you know what? I can answer it. Jim Guthrie messaged us to say who did the music for Banner Saga.
Oh.
Hashtag wink, hashtag hi guys. And the answer is Austin Wintory, and he was the composer also for Journey. There's a piece, I believe, by Laura Parker on the New York Times that was sometime in the last week about all of this. And I believe we also have a piece about some of this. So there's a lot of information about Banner Saga and all the great things that went into making.
We didn't talk too much about the soundtrack, but I really do want to say, I mean, you probably heard it as we were playing, awesome, like epic, a lot of strings, which you don't hear a ton of in games as like the focus for a soundtrack. Horns, obviously, given the Nordic tone of the game. Sick soundtrack in this game. It really goes to show how important presentation is and setting your game apart. Not just nailing the gameplay, but also nailing how your game looks. And in a totally different way, I think that Nidhogg did the same thing, where totally unique art style, totally unique soundtrack, and it really manages to like set that game apart. In you know, a very crowded field.
I mean, I think that works for all three games that we're talking about here, where Nidhogg not so much in terms of being, you know, a proven genre, but especially Banner Saga and Broken Age, which are very familiar types of games done so well and so elegantly that they feel wholly new. And I think that's a good chance for us to dig into Broken Age.
Broken Age is next. Broken Age, let's just talk about it real briefly. As we all know, Broken Age started as a Kickstarter game. It was originally called the Double Fine Adventure, I believe, very vaguely titled. And essentially Double Fine went on Kickstarter, was like, hey, you remember Monkey Island? Remember how much you liked that game? Grim Fandango, that was pretty good. What if we did another one of those? It's been a while, let's do it. But we need money. So they went ahead and raised a colossal sum of money on Kickstarter. I don't remember the final sum, but
I can get you that
many
number.
Millions of dollars.
The original goal was $400,000. Total Kickstarter money raised $3,336,000.
Which is pretty amazing for a point-and-click adventure game. And the end result is Broken Age, which we're about to play right now. Just got released. If you Kickstarted it, just got released to Kickstarter folks. So people that put down money have early access to it. Coming out later this month for everyone else via Steam, I think on the January 26th, somewhere around there.
And if you can't wait, also we have a great review up by our own Justin McElroy that is
on
the top of the site right now.
An excellent review. So this is Broken Age, and we're just going to start a new game here because you'll be experiencing it as we experience it.
Sure.
Whatever language. Let's overwrite that save. And start it up. Oh. So that's the start of the game. Very little preface. You just like, you're in there. This is actually the art style that we'll see throughout the entire game. 2D, but with a look that I don't think I've seen in any other game. There's like a level of depth to the art style, a lot of shading being used, and very welcoming, I would say. Like, these characters just like, you know, you want to like see what their deal is.
Sure, in Justin's review, he compared it to the art from the Stinky Cheese Man and some other children's books.
Sure. So we can click either of these. Let's go over here and see what's up.
Hey, rise and shine, son. You better get up. I'm almost off duty. Your mom's gonna be here soon, and you know how she is. Oh, that's my boy. Oh, here comes your mother.
There's my little angel.
Computer, snooze.
No more snoozies for my little spaceman this morning. Oh, I hope no bad tinkle fairies came and wet your bed during the night.
Computer, off.
Come on and get up, Shay. Lots of important adventures to go on today. get up now, Mr. Man, or I'll turn on the mean sound.
Oh, man.
Okay, you asked for it.
Get up. Interestingly enough, let's wait until this.
What a good
Wait,
boy.
1 second.
Okay, let's clean up that dirty little body.
Oh, the future. It looks so horrible.
Hey, easy, computer.
Whoa.
Oh, quit being so shy. I used to change your diaper.
So you can see very little preface to getting into the story. We literally don't know anything. We're just being introduced to it now. Interestingly enough, you remember the scene that we started the game off with. You could choose either of those two, and the game will let you start, either in the future or sort of a past. I guess what time period would you say that was?
It's not
Maybe not super clear, but definitely in the past. So you can pick which one you want to start with, but obviously the two stories will blend together in interesting ways. So as with any classic adventure game like this, we can pick dialogue choices. No way.
No, I mean, it's subtle, and that's why Tim Schafer's a great writer. Double Fine's great at telling stories, but what's happening here is on either side of the equation is they're setting up a status quo. Both of the characters in this game are kind of adventurous types. They're people who are not comfortable being given vague answers, being restrained.
Actually,
and this is a perfect example of the boring morning of choosing your cereal. And as the adventure goes on, it gets bigger, grander, and we won't spoil anything.
Good morning, Commander.
I wonder if this bowl is as sick of cereal as I am.
You won't be sorry, Commander.
I wonder if this bowl is as sick of cereal as I am.
I know, it's gorgeous. Just the level of detail in the background, stuff like that.
It looks like
I wonder if
concept
this
art.
bowl is as sick of cereal as I am.
Here. So we have a spoon
Stay
now.
on alert. I think there might be food.
Awesome.
Always, sir.
Can we use the spoon on the thing? I haven't actually. Oh yeah, here we go.
So, in old school adventure games, you would collect items and have this little pocket where you could find these and apply them to things throughout the world. What turns people off to these games and why they kind of disappeared for a long time is basically each game had its own internal logic that got crazier and crazier, where you had no clue why you needed to combine dental floss with a monkey wrench and a hot glue gun to get past a coconut tree. And right here they're saying there's something kind of obvious. You have a spoon, you have a cereal bowl, apply these things to solve puzzles.
It still took me a while.
Yeah, well, you can only hope for so much from your players.
Okay, Captain Sweetie, let's get down to business. We are currently tracking multiple developing crises that need
So again, for those just joining us, if you have any questions about Broken Age, we will seek to answer them. Just send them along to @Polygon using the hashtag PolygonLive.
We've also received a mayday signal from the
I sort of don't want to talk
Friendship
about
Circle.
over this
They're under
dialogue, so I'm just going to let it play until we get to a quiet part.
This just came in. My sensors are reporting an entity of unknown origin has attached itself to the hull of this very ship. What are your orders, sweet Captain?
Friendship
We have
Circle.
to defend the Friendship Circle.
Oh, I just don't know who would attack those poor defenseless cuties. To the teleporter room.
I'm aboard the distressed vessel, Friendship Circle. I found one of the crew.
So here we have a pretty typical point-and-click adventure scenario. We can walk around the room, we can inspect. Obviously, we want to talk to that person, but let's check out what else we got over here. Fake controls.
Now, you might recognize some of the voices in the game. It has a pretty crazy list of talent. There's Elijah Wood, Jack Black, who worked with Double Fine in the past, Will Wheaton, Jennifer Hale, and Pendleton Ward, the last of which is the creator of Adventure Time.
Has he done voice work before?
I don't know, not that I know.
Fascinating.
What happened here?
There was an attack!
From an enemy vessel? Or an alien creature? did you attack yourselves in a fit of space madness?
It was a...
Yes?
Oh no.
Adorable.
Special nutrition paste for you today. Grilled cheese.
Oh, the future is the worst.
Ready
Okay,
for
we
your
gotta solve
next
another
exciting
scenario.
space mission, honey? We've got an avalanche, a runaway train, a spaceship under attack, and a mysterious object on the hull.
Cuddle done. No, we went there already. As appetizing as that was. Let's check out that foreign body.
Better suit up and investigate that foreign body.
Settle down.
Ooh, I don't like you going out there. Let's use the safety suit.
Ah, come on.
Wait, Gen B on live stream says that Pendleton Ward has done a number of characters for Adventure Time, including Lumpy Space Princess.
Oh, I love Lumpy Space Princess.
Oh, that's
Oh my
cute.
god. One of the things about Double Fine games, I think is consistent. Well, maybe not throughout. Iron Brigade just jumped to mind as like one of the games that isn't like adorable. But most of their games are either adorable or like very charming. I would say just they have that look to them and very approachable. You just want to know more about this world, and Broken Age seems to definitely be one of those types of games. Here we're dealing with this foreign body on the spaceship. Pretty simple click scenario. I don't have any item. Maybe the spoon? I can use the spoon maybe.
It appears to be
Let's see.
something organic in nature. Something's telling me I should stick my face.
Oh no. Hey, it's a present. Yay. Can't help but think that all of these missions seem to involve very nice things happening to me instead of mean things.
What mission should we go on next, sweetie?
Okay, let's take on one more mission. What haven't we done? Runaway train? Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's catch that runaway train.
Obviously, when you get
Captain
later on in the
C.
game, these are not really
System 7.
puzzles as much as like you're just learning the controls and having a good time. Later on in the game, you are dealing with puzzles, trying to get certain objects working, using the environment. I would say it's not as obtuse as Chris mentioned earlier, previous adventure games, but yeah, it still follows that style. Oh no, he's asleep.
Especially because it seems so preventable. Doesn't anyone have any ideas? If only we
It's nice to see
wake
a
up
game
the
that,
Bridgeman.
on some level, is a kid's game with polish that I would actually think a kid might want to play and
Yeah.
would enjoy, and it's not some like terrible tie-in thrown on the 3DS for to make $30 off of.
Well,
a poor
it's not the
family.
first time we saw Double Fine actually do the, what was it, Sesame Street?
Yeah, they did Sesame Street for Connect.
Sesame Street for Connect. So they certainly have,
And Costume Quest, which was
Costume Quest and
downloadable RPG light
Yeah.
that take place during Halloween.
Absolutely.
And I believe the creator of that went on to work at Pixar.
yep,
Yeah.
this is gosh dang adorable. I am curious though whether like people that didn't experience this era of games would be as, I think they'd be drawn to the art style, would they be as drawn to the gameplay? I'm curious. I certainly have a lot of fondness for that era of gameplay, but maybe, kids these days.
Yeah, but I wonder if, I know a number of people who, the reason they don't play video games is because of the controls. Because you look at like one of these things and you have 2 joysticks, you have 4 buttons, you have 4 more buttons, you have a D-pad, you have 3 buttons in the middle, and it's overwhelming. And I know most of the people who are watching this are thinking that's crazy because you're so accustomed to the idea of using a controller. But input is the barrier to entry for a lot of people who might play video games, and something as simple as a point-and-click adventure is welcoming to everybody. I mean, everyone at this point knows how to use a mouse on a screen. And I think, even if it's, baby's first game.
Baby's first game.
Pretty
I
welcoming.
would feel comfortable like giving this game to like a 7 or 8-year-old, which is certainly a rare commodity these days.
Sure.
Especially one that, doesn't, isn't a downer. I did sort of want to briefly jump over to the... Can you try to start a new game? Because we can jump over and show the other art style, or the other timeline. Here, I'll handle that. So let's start another game, and we'll do save 2. You think they know each other, but they don't. They're just on another world. So here, we're starting a new game, and we could just start right from this character, Vela. So I mentioned it earlier, but for people that don't know, if you back the game on Kickstarter, chances are you already know this, but you can download the game right now. You should have a code in your inbox. If you didn't, everyone else can download and will buy the game on, I believe it's January 26th or the 27th, definitely later this month through Steam. So here we have a completely different timeline. Obviously the art style is still consistent, but this is, you know, in the past. This sort of looks like, could be like 1500s maybe, Middle Ages. Maybe?
I don't think it's set in real time.
Yeah, but like give or take.
Also, do you think that's the type of shirt that they wore in the 1500s? Did you ever open a book?
Maybe in this land.
What school did you go to?
Very, very charming.
Oh yeah, classic 1500s architecture.
There you go.
Sure, yeah, the round domed homes.
Yeah, that's.
It must have been
the
Finland.
domes. Oh my gosh, it's so dark in here. I'm afraid. Oh my God.
Whoa.
See, they're both, it's their birthday. Both of the characters' birthdays. And that's how the game starts, it's with birthdays.
I can't believe.
I like that. Symmetry.
Can't believe.
I like this style. Why don't people dress like this normally? Also, that dude's arm hair is so badass.
It's lush.
I'm jealous of that
your
guy.
beard.
After cake?
Oh my gosh, and his beard's so much better than mine.
Yeah, it's much better. And she's got bread in her hat.
Well, of course. You never know when you're gonna need carbs. You gotta
Sassy
boost.
grannies are the best.
Put that knife. Nobody
No.
touches that cake until I find the ceremonial knife.
I could all start in trouble.
So this is a birthday scenario, and we can just walk around. We can talk
Birthday
to,
scenario.
we can talk to people.
Oh, yeah, it's the classic video game birthday scenario. I remember the birthday scenario in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
And here's a sassy grandma.
We just fight, Mob
Oh, I like her. She's like, what's her name? The Lady Dowager? The
Dowager Countess.
Oh, yeah.
Downton Abbey. A lot of people playing this will think, this just reminds me just of Downton Abbey.
Yeah, oh, sure.
I don't want to delve too deep because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are looking to play this without spoilers. We've only just shown the first 5 or 10 minutes. Any other questions from folks wanting to know more about
How about you play a little bit
Broken
more and then I'll
Age?
get you those. I'll
You
pull
want me to
them
play a
up
little
right
more?
now.
Okay. I'm looking for this knife.
Any idea where Mom's knife
Like
is?
any good game, I need a knife.
If I knew, I would have cut that cake, shoved it down your gullets, and had us out the door already. Oh!
Can I ask you about the Maiden's Feast?
Weren't you paying attention in maiden training?
What is Mog Chothra?
The latest in a long, distinguished line of grand mogs to visit our land.
Distinguished?
Well, anything
So,
that lives that long
a
becomes
few quick
distinguished.
questions that are just kind of broad questions.
Okay.
Jake Inzer says, have you tried the X input tool for DS4 with Nidhogg? X input is for DualShock 4.
Okay, got it.
I translated that for you, sorry.
I don't know what is the, X input for which game? Nidhogg?
Connecting, yeah.
I haven't actually. So maybe I should
That's
try.
something we'll try out later today. You're actually writing the review for Nidhogg.
Nidhogg, yeah.
So maybe that's something we can include, if not in the review, at least in the comments. For people.
Certainly that will be in it.
And Jen asks, are there any upcoming Kickstarter games you're really excited about?
I'm excited about the second Double Fine Kickstarter game that was announced called Massive Chalice, which has been described as sort of Fire Emblem-y. It's sort of funny because it has a lot of similarities with Banner Saga, but I love turn-based strategy games and with permadeath and stuff like that. So that's one I'm excited about. Trying to think of any others that have piqued my fancy.
I am looking at what I've actually backed. Barkley 2, the sequel to Barkley
yes.
Shut Up and Jam Gaiden.
Yep.
Dog Sled Saga, and Lioness, which are all. I honestly, sometimes when I back these things, I try not to know too much about them. If I get a general sense of it being interesting, I throw it at the lowest level, the equivalent of a pre-order, and then I walk away. Something like Lioness with Zach Isles. It was just that when you backed it, you got 7 kind of prototype games that he had worked on. And that's personally what I'm most excited about with Kickstarter. Isn't even like the developer diaries or logs or any of that stuff. It's when they tie work that maybe wouldn't have been made public to the Kickstarter project.
Sure.
Because I really love picking at those sort of things. And I think we're actually going to start seeing that more with Humble Bundle too, as people want to put their game on Humble Bundle and maybe don't have enough games to fill out like a whole Humble Bundle week. So they'll throw
prototypes and stuff like that.
Up. I think there's actually one of those up right now.
Part of Humble Bundle 10.
Claw game.
Oh, the claw game.
Yeah. But other than that, no. I mean, it's this weird thing where I was so bummed out by my initial experiences with Kickstarters that
You didn't like your Pebble Watch.
I did not like my Pebble Watch, to say the least. And it kind of weaned me off of Kickstarter. And then in the last week, there's been Banner Saga, there's been Broken Age, and also not a video game, but Guts of Glory, the board game by Zach Gage, all arrived on my doorstep at the same time. And it's like, oh yeah, this can work. You just have to be unbelievably patient.
Yeah.
And you have to give them, 2 years to really figure it out.
And I think super confident in the clientele and the talent that's making the games.
Yeah, I'm looking at the estimated delivery dates for all of these, and they
not quite.
Well, March 2013, June 2013.
Yeah.
August 2013. It takes them some time.
Sure.
Which is understandable.
Any other questions?
No, I think that's mostly it.
Okay.
That's
acceptable.
Maybe before we wrap things up, though, maybe we could just kind of talk about what this show will look like over the next season, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Thank you again for joining us for the first episode of Polygon Live. We will seek to essentially just play and talk about the new games of the week. Each week, we will try to bring the latest games. Still figuring out options for handheld and mobile games. Is a little trickier, obviously, to get them streaming so you can see them and stuff like that. But definitely for sure, PC, Mac, console games we will be looking at. There's tons of interesting stuff coming out in 2014. We'll also have special guests. Who knows, we'll have developers on if they're around, if they want to call in. We'll do Skype calls. We'll have other Polygon staffers on the show as well as calling in. So this is sort of going to be your way to speak to Polygon as an organization, as our staff will be here to answer questions about the games as well as just about life.
And let us know who you want to see and what you want to see. In the comments, people are already asking about our amazing reviews team, and I guarantee they will be making appearances as time goes on, especially because they are the ones who often have the most contact with games that are coming out each week. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
It'll only get better from here. The first episode is always the most intimidating because you have no idea what the hell it'll be like.
Sure.
But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Chris, for being here. And we'll be back again next week, Wednesday at noon ET, experiencing the latest and greatest in video games on Polygon Live.